If you cannot pay employees what they deserve, it shows that you have no confidence in your business as a founder.
Your value increases when you add value to others.
Now, let me explain. So, when you're actually going ahead and deciding how much to pay for your employees, you obviously are going to research and see what the market is paying or what people are actually asking of for their salaries and their compensations. You'll try to understand the employee side, you'll try to understand what the market is doing, and then you'll kind of base out a range which you can actually afford. That's completely okay as a business to be able to figure out a number that works for the business, because at the end of the day you want money coming into the business, you also want to make a profit, you also want to make sure that you're allocating the right amount of funds into the right amount of resources or people, and also buying the right tools for your business, trying to automate certain processes and so on. But not all businesses are going to thrive and not all businesses are going to be successful, right? So when you're thinking about hiring the right person for a particular role, if you're looking at someone who is experienced and you're looking for someone who has a wealth of experience, let's say, for example, 5 years, 10 years, and you want someone with 5 to 10 years of experience, but then you want to pay them as if you're going to pay someone who just came out of uni or who is just a fresher, that doesn't make sense. So you need to understand that there's a lot of motivational factor when it comes to paying the person the right amount when they're actually doing the work for it. You're not only paying that particular employee, you're not only paying that person for the role that they're doing within your organization, rather you're paying for all that they've learned and accumulated, all the knowledge, all the learnings that they've done throughout their years, whether it be in their undergrad, whether it be at for their masters, or whether it be some certification courses that they've done. They have invested in their life, and in terms of they've invested in their future, so they've got to get a return on that. If they are an MBA grad, you'll be spending more on them, you'll be having a plan or a progress in terms of how they will grow within the organization and so on. So you need to understand that if an employee is coming into a role, by making sure they fit into your junior level role with a pay that's much lower than what they deserve or what they expect, that will only go so far in terms of satisfying their needs and wants. So at the end of the day, they are definitely going to be searching elsewhere. They're going to be looking, they're not going to be looking long term with you. They're not going to be highly motivated or to even be driven to actually wake up and ensure that they're focusing and going the extra mile for your business. So at the end of the day, that can backfire in the long run. You won't get efforts, you won't get inputs, you won't get efficiency, you won't get quality work. All these things will take a back seat when you're trying to compromise on their pay. And I like to take comparisons between sport and business because I think they have a lot of similarities. And when you look at sports, for example, a particular player in another role might have not been successful. No, they might have been a captain, they might have been the lead scorer or whatever that they do in that particular in their previous role or in their previous team. They might have not been as successful, but when they move to another team where they're more valued and appreciated and they're actually motivated to do well, then they start performing well. It's not that the knowledge or the skill set for that particular player has changed over that duration of time. It's the way they're perceived and how they're valued within that ecosystem that is created. That's what makes them perform to their best of their abilities. And it's not just that your tactics, the way your vision, your mission, and your goals for the business also define how your employees are actually going to be structured and working together and working as a team together. You don't want people to be working individually. You want people to be working collaboratively. And so to achieve that goal, you've got to ensure that you find the right people for that role, but also if you don't have the budget, then focus on ways you can bring in people and train them. Focus on ways where you can look long term and kind of bring in interns, or find innovative ways to bring in people and actually train them and develop them and give them the skill set and provide them the knowledge and understanding from within, and then build them up to actually be long term with your business. Another option that is there is to, if you're starting a business and you're in an area or a place or a country where economy is down, or even if the job roles that you're looking for are at a much higher pay scale, then look at contracting people. Look at people in another country. How can you try to maybe look at places where you can pay less, but at the same time you're able to match up to the expectation of that region. So then it becomes a win-win, because you're able to get the right people, get the right resources, get the right people in terms of the educational levels and so on. And you are also able to get a drop down in terms of how the costs are for paying them. And ultimately, you're going to win by making sure that they're also working with the company long term, and they're able to also understand how to actually give to the company by making sure that they're growing within the organization as well. I like what my dad always says: if you pay peanuts, then you will attract monkeys. So this is really true on many different levels, because if you see how you build an organization, if you want to look at how to build an organization, how to build a team, you need to kind of tick off what are the key motivating factors for work for employees. So at the end of the day, when you're bringing someone from a different role, when you're bringing someone from a different company, if you're bringing them at a lower pay scale, that's not going to help you actually provide them their needs, because they're so used to being at a higher pay scale. They're so used to doing it automatically looks like a downgrade for them. Whether you like it or not, psychologically, that's what they're going to be feeling. They're not going to be satisfied unless and otherwise they're willing to actually drop down because of because of a better work ethic, or because of a better environment to work in and learn and grow. They won't actually be satisfied in the role that they're going to go. And so that's where we need to be very clear as a business owner to understand what actually makes these employees that we're hiring. At the early stages, you need to be in tune with each of your employees and understand what actually makes them tick. How do they, how and why do they want to work for the organization, for our organization? How do they want to help us? Are they looking long term? Are they thinking as a pathway to maybe landing another job? So these are ways, in proactive ways, that you can actually understand and think and have these open conversations when you're having interview processes. Don't just have one or two interviews and then, oh yeah, I found talent, and then that's it, let's fill them. Unfortunately, a lot of startups and a lot of companies that are working in regions where there's economic downturn, the founders are often resulting to saying that we've got to drop down the pay scale because of the situation, or because of the funds or the lack of funds within the organization. Then why are you hiring? As a business, if you are trying to cut down on salaries as the only thing to make sure that you're improving your financial efficiency for the business, then that means you don't believe in your product or service that you're selling. Because if you believed in your product or service that you're selling, you'll know that you're going to make up those profits. You know that once you bring in this talent, that person is going to add so much value to your business that you're going to recuperate that expense through selling and through making sure that you're bringing in customers. I fail to understand when business owners say that we don't have the funds, and so we're just going to have to slash your salaries. If you're going to be doing that, then that's not going to be working for you in the long run, because ultimately you're going to have a workforce which is fully demotivated. And in the long run, if all of them join together and stop being productive, who is that going to impact? It's going to be your customers and your business. And who does that fall on? it will fall on your head. It's important to find that balance, and with that balance you can add responsibilities, you can add a little bit more a long-term effort in terms of how they can grow within the organization. You can have a progress plan on showing them clearly how they can grow with the organization, and as the organization grows they will step into other roles which have more responsibilities. And these are ways you can actually motivate them to work. At the end of the day, paying employees what they deserve is not just a matter of ethics, but it's a smart business decision. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you like this one. Do like, share, and subscribe.